Live from Arkansas streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on THV 11 Plus, streaming on your TV. And of course, we are continuing this snow, ice. I think I'm so shocked at how much these temperatures have affected this long-lasting ice. And we're going to get to traffic in just a second, too. But Tracy, I mean, goodness, when I'm trying to dig out of this thing,
it's tough.
It's impossible.
It's just rock solid.
It's rock solid.
Yeah, and that's partly why it's taking so long for it to melt, because it is solid. This
Even
morning,
though
I was walking.
5 inches.
I was walking on the surface. I mean, not sinking at all when I was taking George out this morning. I was, I haven't been outside, honestly, to be perfectly honest. We've been in, and then, so I've not been in it until really the last day or so. Wow.
Isn't it weird that snow could be so tight and just stiff?
It was that mix that came in, of course, and then it just,
froze.
freezes.
I
I
had
to get down the stairs from my porch to the driveway. I had to sit on my butt and slide down it. And my husband watched and died laughing this morning as I was sliding.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was gone after you.
I thought of you yesterday. I had a dad crash out. Like, I was literally digging and I got the snow covered, and right underneath it is like 3 inches of solid ice.
After you get up the first layer, there's more.
I got a pick, and I'm trying to get the Jeep out, and I mean, like, I had full crash out. Like, Dad just like, I was swinging as hard as I could, and then I hit the driveway, and like a spark hit, and then, you always get the check of like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just laid there.
Well, I sat on my butt and I slid down, and then I got to the car and I looked, and it was completely frosted over on the windshield, and I thought, I need to go back in because we have a scraper in the house. So I picked up a shovel, which was still left outside, and I hit what was covering the steps and didn't make a dent.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is so hard. My husband, he's watching all of this in his underwear laughing.
I'm proud of you, Ashley. He should have helped you, but
so he throws it out to the driveway, and I go running after it.
Same. And he's jacked too, so that's when all the neighbors are like, hey, it's Michael. What's he doing?
Hilarious.
All the neighbors were in bed because no one is attempting besides me to get out of our neighborhood because it looks awful.
We might should have stayed one more night. We might should have stayed.
There is a lot of traffic given the conditions.
All of those people, including Brett, our producer director, who was, he says he lives near the interstate. So coming in from Conway, he didn't have a whole lot of issues. He just jumped on the interstate and he was able to get into downtown Little Rock. But for those of us that have to drive quite a while to get to the interstate, it can be an issue. I was saying earlier, it took me, it usually takes 20, 25 minutes to get here, and it took me about an hour or a little bit more this morning. And now, granted, I was driving very, very slow, and other people weren't. This is what it looks like right now on 630. You can see there's still some icy patches, still just some lanes that are open here. So, in some areas it looks great and you have several lanes that you can travel on, and then others is kind of narrowed down to just one. So just be very, very careful, even though we are talking about those interstates that are looking a lot better. Live traffic map looks like this. Really no issues on our roadways right now. As far as the primary roads go, we'll take another look at this coming up. Right now, checking in with Tracy.
All right, we do have some fog out there right now, reducing visibility just a little bit, but I know around Malvern, Ashley was saying that it was pretty foggy out there. We're not seeing that here, but down to our south as well, and we do have this freezing fog advisory. It's been taken out of Central Arkansas since I last looked at this map, so I will update things. But again, we're seeing some of those areas again, just with a little patchy fog here and there. Now, current temperatures are around 24, but we've got some teens out there as well, and that wind chill is certainly very, very cold. 18, it's dropped from 19. So today, make sure you grab that coat. We are going to see plenty of sunshine. It is going to be melting, and we're going to see those highs in the 40s, maybe even close to 50 down south. But tomorrow's going to be very similar, but then we're going to go back down below freezing on a Friday, and we're going to talk about the possibility we couldn't really see much more melting this weekend until early next week. So stay with me. We'll talk about those temperatures.
All right, Tracy, thank you. If you are hitting the roads this morning, drive very carefully. As we've been mentioning, overnight those temperatures falling into the 20s, refreezing, all of that mess. The snow, the ice, and those slippery patches can catch you off guard.
Sure can, quickly too. And this morning, THV 11's Tamer Knight is back out in Weather Force 11 watching the roads for you. Major streets pretty clear, Tamer, but tell us about the side roads and what you've been seeing on this drive this morning.
Well, good morning, Karen and Hayden. We've made our way to North Little Rock, and right now we're on Counts Massey Road. And I'm just going to flip the camera immediately here because this is actually one of the worst roads we've driven on this morning. There has been moments where we've been driving on this road and we actually slipped, and we're in a four-wheel drive. So I don't know if slip makes sense or if you guys understand what I'm saying, but it's slick. And so we're sliding just a little bit from turning to going straight. So if you're in North Little Rock or if you're just having to leave the house this morning, just be mindful. I heard Tracy and Ashley talking about their commutes that normally take 15 to 20 minutes, took them an hour. I can imagine if you're just having to leave the house this morning, just be mindful. Again, this is probably one of the worst roads that we've driven on this morning. This is another angle you can see, still very much icy, heavily coated. What we're driving on is just people driving back and forth, but doesn't look like RDOT has made their way to this side of town at all. So if you're headed out this morning, remember to drive with caution, drive slow, and make sure you leave room between each car because it's still very, very hazardous conditions out here. And be safe. Reporting for THE 11 News in North Little Rock, I'm Tamer Knight.
Yeah, right there off the boulevard heading towards Maumelle, you take that exit. I mean, I can't imagine a bus even trying that road. So,
can't think of that. Yeah.
All right, Tamer, thank you. While these conditions are trying to improve, especially in Little Rock, drivers across other parts of the state still dealing with a lot of trouble spots as we've seen. Just take a look at this. Now, Northwest Arkansas looking pretty good. Crews making progress of the conditions there because they mainly got snow, but in the River Valley, sleet left over from the storm has created an ongoing challenge for RDOT crews as they try and work to clear those roadways.
It's tight, it's compact, it's like a ice block. Snow we can plow away, but that sleet mixed with snow mixed with sleet, it compresses, it gets pushed. It's like an ice block, and it's harder for us to get to. It's harder for it to melt. It's tougher, but it's just slow going is the best way I could put it. You know, it takes us longer to get through it. It takes longer for the additives, the rock salt to work into it, but we're making progress.
Officials are urging drivers to please stay alert and use caution, even on roads that appear clear at first glance. Now, those road conditions also forcing changes at Oaklawn this weekend. Live racing planned has now been postponed due to safety and travel concerns. The entire slate of races is now moving to next weekend, February 5th through the 8th, keeping major events like the Southwest Stakes on the schedule. Oaklawn split its season into 2 meets this year to hopefully avoid those winter issues, a plan that almost worked out.
When major winter storms happen, like the one we're recovering from now, roads are treacherous, school work canceled, but for essential workers, staying home is not an option. And that reality inspired an online group to step in and help nurses get to their shifts. Little history here. The group is called the Nurses Lounge of Central Arkansas. It was created in 2024 by Aisha Taylor, an oncology nurse at UAMS. She did it as a space for nurses to connect with one another, deal with the burnout, because at the time it was the COVID pandemic. Since then, the group has been growing to now more than 1,200 members. And when they realized that some colleagues had no safe way to get to work now, the network went into action.
A lot more people than I anticipated that needed transportation. It just, the calls kept coming in, you know, and I was excited, to be honest. I was very excited to be able to assist. It went from 6 volunteers to a total of 29 volunteers by the time we finished. So that was exciting to see so many people who wanted to help with the initiative. And 2 of those people were nurses themselves.
In just 2 days, more than 250 essential workers were able to get to and from their shifts, including nurses, CNAs, respiratory therapists, and doctors too. Just about 7:10 this morning on Capitol Hill, Arkansas Congressman French Hill is introducing a bill aimed at helping people with disabilities find work. The Ticket to Work Awareness Act has bipartisan support and would require Social Security to better promote a job training program allowing people to work without losing their benefits. He calls it a simple, cost-free way to expand opportunity and independence.
A man is facing possible assault charges this morning after attacking Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar with an unknown substance. Now, the incident followed a town hall where Omar called for federal immigration agents to leave Minneapolis.
It also happened as new details emerge in the death of Alex Preddy, the second U.S. citizen shot and killed by federal agents in Minneapolis in 3 weeks. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill reports.
At a town hall Tuesday night,
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign.
Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar sprayed by a heckler with an unknown substance. The man, identified as 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierczak, tackled immediately and arrested. The Congresswoman continued on.
We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us.
It's the latest incident in a city on edge after a second U.S. citizen, 37-year-old Alex Preddy, was shot and killed by federal agents Saturday. A memo sent to Congress by U.S. Customs and Border Protection confirms what's heard on the recordings, that an officer yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times before two agents shot at Preddy. No mention of Preddy brandishing his gun, as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claimed earlier.
Wishing to inflict harm on these officers coming brandishing like that.
We view that as a very unfortunate incident.
President Trump says he's waiting on the investigation, but criticized Preddy's having the firearm.
I don't like that he had a gun.
Putting him at odds with gun rights groups like the NRA. On Capitol Hill, Noem under bipartisan scrutiny.
She shouldn't be there.
We would be better served with new leadership at the department.
While Trump is publicly supporting Noem, he's sent border czar Tom Homan to be on the ground in Minnesota as he tries to, quote, de-escalate a little bit. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And now let's switch gears, no pun intended, go to Ashley with a check of the roads right now.
Yeah, we're looking at Interstate 30 here. This is at the North Terminal Interchange, right around the North Hills Boulevard exit. So we're still seeing that most of the lanes are clear, but with the freezing overnight, black ice, plus it looks like maybe what melted yesterday a little bit has melted onto the roadways. Although I have seen crews out this morning. RDOT was out, a plow out on 630, but those city streets, the county roads, I know still need a little bit of work, but they're trying to do the best they can, trying to get out there and clear those. I saw Mayor Frank Scott Jr. yesterday morning saying that they have really started working on those secondary roads, but neighborhoods will be after that. So it's still a rough go for some people if you're not living right off of an interstate. But even then, the on-ramps and the off-ramps could be an issue. One place I do want to tell you about that we have an accident is right past Lonoke, just east of Lonoke here on mile marker 177, 40 westbound. The right shoulder impacted with this accident. And the other one that we had in Malvern on I-30 is now clear. Drive times into downtown Little Rock don't look so bad, but Tracy, I feel like this is maybe I don't know, a little subjective. It just depends on how fast you drive. I was going very slow.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this, like coming from our house, it took me a little under an hour. It took you over an hour. We live near each other. So again, out, not quite Ferndale area, but close. Right. Coming in, that's how long it took, and it was sketchy at times.
Yeah,
it made me nervous.
In the morning, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just posted on my Facebook page, tagged you as well, you'll be able to see it. My view this morning, what I saw on Colonel Glenn as I was coming again, kind of out of the woods, and you get to the car dealerships and Sonic there on the left, there was a semi that was stuck. But the bigger thing to look at is the road. Look at the road. It is a mess out there.
It's crazy. Right there on Colonel Glenn in front of the Subaru dealership and Sonic, it's just it's completely white.
It's all ice, yeah. So again, go take a look at that, and that'll kind of show you what we're looking at around the state. Kids are still out of school, and again, talking about temperatures, that's what I want to focus on here. Highs today around 40. We're going to see some good melting as we did yesterday, but as we were talking about, that is thick ice. It is not just snow, kind of slushy. So it's taking a minute for it to really start to make its way again, just to go away. Now we do have a bit of a boundary pushing in on Friday, and that's going to bring in some cooler temperatures. So these are our afternoon highs. Keep in mind the melting we saw today and yesterday in the 40s. Now Friday we're only going to reach 31, and then this weekend is 25. 35. Now Sunday we will go above freezing, but if we're not melting all of this again in the 40s, I don't know how much melting we're going to do in the 30s. You know, even if it is above freezing, there'll be some, but the neighborhoods and like we're seeing, the secondary roads are still very icy out there. We're going to continue to see those temperatures warming up next week, but those lows are going to be very low this weekend. That cold air coming in and settling Saturday morning and Sunday morning, 10, 11, and those wind chills are going to be in the single digits and even those negative values. So it's going to be a bit before we're starting to see a lot of that melt again. Just thinking about the bus routes and how that impacts, we need some big time melting today and tomorrow before we're heading into the weekend.